3 years in the making, and I'm finally starting a playthrough of Cyberpunk 2077. As someone who played the first few hours of the launch version on a base PS4, before returning it with more anger and disappointment than a FIFA fan that's been fucked over by EA for the 15th time this fucking decade, I'm very curious to see how Cyberpunk now, after patch 2.0 and Phantom Liberty, compares to Cyberpunk then.
Biochip.
Let's start with the character creator. No RPG is complete without its character creator, except The Witcher, and Kingdom Come Deliverance, and Chrono Trigger. Never mind. But Cyberpunk has one in it, and it is underwhelming. You start by choosing a body type, clearly aimed at modern audiences. Then you have a smattering of basic choices to change the appearance of your character, but there's nothing noteworthy going on here. Except, of course, the more eclectic anatomical features that you can customize, but they serve no actual purpose in the game, so they seem to be completely pointless. There are no sliders, just preset options that you can cycle through. It's not terrible, but you can tell the character creator was not a major focus point during development. Next is the life paths. This is Cyberpunk's version of the origin stories in Dragon Age Origins. Anyone who has seen my Dragon Age videos will know that I'm obsessed with those origin stories. And the life paths in Cyberpunk was a major reason why I pre-ordered the game back in 2020. I like that CDPR worked them in, because they do add a bit of variety to the beginning of the game, but these life paths are nowhere near as extensive as the origin stories in Dragon Age. Each takes about 10 minutes to play through, with nothing meaningful that really happens, other than meeting Jackie, the person who will introduce your character to the underbelly of Night City. Based on which life path you choose, you get a few additional dialogue options later in the game, but that's about it as far as I know. Overall, the life paths are a nice touch. I just wish they had a bit more depth to them, with more of an impact on the rest of your playthrough. Now, full disclosure, I just started my playthrough, basically only having finished the prologue, so I've yet to see how my life path choice can affect the rest of my playthrough, but I've played enough to get an idea of how Cyberpunk now compares to Cyberpunk back then, and let me say, it's a completely different game. I mean, I don't mean story-wise or content-wise really, but just the sheer quality of it. Now granted, that is partly because I initially played it on a base PS4, which is the worst possible version, and now I'm playing it on a medium to high-end PC. But it is clear that an extraordinary amount of work went into fixing the broken pile of crap that was the launch version. The combat is impactful, the city feels alive, and it is stunningly beautiful. Just about every aspect seems to have been improved. With only a few hours into it, I can already tell that this is going to be an immersive experience like few others. This is the game that had me tingling in anticipation all through 2020. This is what we were supposed to get, and I'm so happy I refunded Cyberpunk back then, because I think it would have been a crime to play this game in the broken state that it was in at the time, especially on a base PS4. Now I get to experience the down, dirty, dangerous, and enthralling world of Night City, just as it was meant to be experienced. I want to end this off by saying that CDPR does not deserve any awards for this game, okay? Giving them an award for best continuous game is fucking ridiculous. They fucked us in 2020, and they knew exactly what they were doing. They sold us a game that was in early access, and they knew that they'd spend the next few years fixing it, and when all was said and done, we just eat it all up and all would be forgiven. Okay, now, don't get me wrong, I love this game now. The little bit that I played, I can already see it's going to be one of my favorites. But as consumers, as gamers, we cannot forget. We cannot forget what they did, and we cannot, and we should not, be giving them awards for basically just fixing the shit that they caused in the first place. So, that's my first impressions of Cyberpunk 2077. If you're like me and you're a better person than everyone else and you refunded this game when it released back in 2020, now is the time to pick it back up. If, however, you are a spineless worm and the embodiment of everything wrong with the gaming industry, and you played this game in the broken, shitty state that it was in at launch, let me know how you felt about it. Comment down below with all of it. Thanks for watching. I appreciate your time. Cheers.